Prices are climbing across the United States. From the jeans you wear to the spices in your kitchen, everyday goods are costing more in 2026. Just months away from the midterm elections, this surge is drawing attention, and not just from shoppers. Economists and business owners are watching closely as a combination of tariffs, wages, and healthcare costs push prices higher. The first signs came from major brands. Levi's, the iconic denim company, announced price increases. Men's jeans will go up by $5 per pair. Women's jeans will jump by 10. McCormick, the spice maker, reported facing a $50 million hit due to U.S. tariffs. The company said it would respond with what it called surgical price hikes. Columbia Sportswear, known for jackets and outerwear, is also raising prices on its clothing lines. These increases aren't limited to big corporations. Small businesses across the country are adjusting prices as well. A recent survey shows that more than half, 54%, plan to raise prices in the coming months. 42% intend to keep prices steady, while just 3% are planning to lower them. The construction industry is feeling the impact too. In Cincinnati, one company told the Wall Street Journal it plans to increase prices by 10 to 15%. The reasons cited were steel tariffs and rising healthcare costs. Online retailers are also raising prices, reflecting the broader trend across the economy. CNN reporter Matt Egan explained the drivers behind these price hikes. He said companies are reacting to a combination of higher wages, increasing healthcare costs, and tariffs implemented by the federal government. McCormick specifically acknowledged the $50 million impact from tariffs and described its approach as careful, targeted adjustments rather than across-the-board increases. Economists have long warned that tariffs and trade barriers typically raise domestic prices. By design, a tariff is a tax on imported goods. When import costs rise, companies generally pass those costs on to consumers. In this case, prices on everyday goods are rising as a direct consequence. The timing of these increases has caught the attention of political observers. President Donald Trump's administration had campaigned on promises of lower costs for groceries, clothing, and everyday essentials. The current price hikes stand in contrast to those assurances. Economists and analysts note that inflation remains above zero, meaning prices are still climbing, not falling. Historically, the effects of tariffs have been clear. In the 1930s, blanket tariffs triggered retaliation from trading partners, reduced trade, and worsened economic conditions during the Great Depression. More recently, tariffs have led to similar outcomes: higher prices, market instability, and disruptions in supply chains. Experts point out that without careful, targeted application, tariffs almost always result in inflationary pressure for domestic consumers. Looking at the numbers, small businesses are adjusting prices in line with these pressures. The survey showing 54% planning increases illustrates the widespread effect, even among firms that are not directly importing goods. Construction companies affected by both steel tariffs and rising healthcare expenses are also passing costs onto clients. Online marketplaces reflect these changes, making the increases visible to a wide range of consumers. These adjustments create a chain reaction. When prices rise in retail, food, or construction, it affects household budgets, small business operations, and the broader economy. Analysts say that while some increases may seem modest on a per-item basis, the cumulative effect can be significant. The political angle cannot be ignored. With midterms approaching, rising prices may shape voter perception. Policy promises to reduce costs are now facing the reality of increased expenses. Economists stress that the interplay between tariffs, wages, and healthcare costs is producing predictable outcomes, though the timing is politically sensitive. In practical terms, shoppers are seeing the impact firsthand. A simple grocery run or clothing purchase now costs more than it did at the start of the year. McCormick spices, Levi's jeans, Columbia outerwear, and construction services are all examples of sectors passing higher costs onto consumers. Experts note that these price increases are part of a broader pattern. Tariffs implemented without a precise strategic approach tend to have immediate domestic consequences. The intended benefits, such as protecting local industries or shifting supply chains, take years to materialize, often accompanied by short-term economic pain. The story of these price hikes is also a story of how policy meets the real world. While tariffs may be intended to achieve larger economic goals, the immediate effect is clear: higher prices for everyday goods. Companies from small businesses to major corporations respond by adjusting prices, and the costs are ultimately absorbed by consumers. Looking forward, analysts will be watching several key indicators: small business pricing decisions, corporate adjustments in response to tariffs, and online price trends will all signal how the economy is responding in real time. These trends also highlight the interconnectedness of global supply chains. Disruptions abroad, whether from tariffs or trade conflicts, quickly translate into higher costs at home. Observers emphasize that while price increases may be politically inconvenient, they are grounded in economic realities. Wages, healthcare costs, and import tariffs are all documented factors contributing to inflation. The consequences of these policies are measurable and visible, shaping spending patterns, business operations, and household budgets. The 2026 midterms add urgency to the story. Political messaging around lower prices now faces a challenge as consumers experience higher costs in their daily lives. The contrast between campaign promises and economic reality is stark, and it may influence voter perceptions in the coming months. In summary, the 2026 price increases are widespread. They touch clothing, spices, construction services, and online marketplaces. They are driven by documented factors, tariffs, wages, and healthcare costs. Economists warn that these increases are predictable outcomes of trade policy, and historical precedent reinforces this conclusion. For consumers, the takeaway is clear. Prices on everyday goods are rising, and businesses are passing along higher costs. The effect is immediate and tangible, reflected in both small business pricing and major corporate adjustments. The story continues to unfold. As companies finalize pricing for the year, and as the economy responds to ongoing tariffs and cost pressures, these trends will remain in focus. Observers will be tracking both consumer impact and political consequences, creating a lens into how policy choices translate into real-world effects. Ultimately, the 2026 price increases serve as a reminder. Economic policies, including tariffs, wages, and healthcare requirements, have direct, measurable consequences. Companies respond, consumers pay, and the broader economy feels the impact.